Hello, everyone, and welcome back once again to a tier list video. Um, I'm joined by Amoeba yet again,
Hello.
and we're gonna be going through Cleric subclasses today. Um, Hopefully we'll be a little bit more brisk in our rankings, and this won't take 2.5 hours, but we'll see. Maybe it will. If it needs to take that long, then so be it. Um,
Why not?
Do you want me to start us off?
Sure.
All right. Um, we are starting with the Arcana domain, Cleric. Magic is an energy that suffuses the multiverse and fuels both destruction and creation. Gods of the Arcana domain know the secrets and potential of magic intimately. For some of these gods, magical knowledge is a great responsibility that comes with a special understanding of the nature of reality. Other gods of Arcana see magic as pure power to be used as its wielder sees fit. The gods of this domain are often associated with knowledge, as learning and arcane power tend to go hand in hand. It's gonna have like a list of gods for almost all of these, and I'm just gonna not read them, but I will put them up on the screen if you want to see them. The Arcana domain cleric. I think it's pretty alright, pretty middle of the road. I don't know, how do you feel?
I think it's kind of but you get it's kind of interesting part is you get some like cool spells that clerics they're like very strange for clerics to get, like wizardy spells, and you get like cantrips that are usable instead of the normal cleric cantrips. They're pretty bad. So if you actually want to like deal damage, you could have like firebolt or something.
Yeah,
Um,
it's pretty solid, and you get proficiency in Arcana level 1, which, isn't awesome compared to some other clerics level 1 stuff.
Yeah, because you're in. I mean, if you're going Arcana Cleric, you probably want to have like some int, just like thematically, it makes sense.
Yeah, but
Um,
they're
Potent
pretty.
spellcasting becomes pretty okay if you have a good cantrip. Um,
Yeah. All right. You get like magic missile, you know.
I think they're pretty decent. Like, yeah, Magic Missile's pretty good. You can like banish stuff. That's kind of all right. You get Magic Weapon and Magic Aura, which are lame. You
They're okay cleric
Magic Circle
spells.
and Dispel Magic, which are okay. You get Secret Chest and Arcane Eye, which are pretty lame.
Yeah.
You get Teleportation Circle, which is cool. Um,
Channel
so it's like,
divinity is
I don't know.
like
I give them
not
pretty okay.
super good,
I'd put
but
them in B.
yeah, I would say so.
They're unique, they're interesting, or they have some interesting parts, but they're not like super crazy. There's some fun stuff you can do.
Um, Spellbreakers, okay. You could use it as like a restoration of sorts. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. I think your 17th level feature is pretty good if you ever get there. Get a
It's kind of
bunch of
17th, it's kind of fake because it's 17th level.
wizard spells. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like something that I would maybe play, but compared to other not wizards. Well, I mean, compared to other wizards too, but compared to other cleric subclasses, it's kind of weak. So I feel like
Where would you put it?
probably C. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're like an active hindrance for taking it, but it's not very good. And there's a lot of cleric subclasses that are very good, so.
I mean, I'll accept that. I thought you were more of an Arcana stan.
Nah. Just
Trying
because
to
I don't
convince,
hate it doesn't mean I stan it, okay?
trying to convince me to play an Arcana Cleric the other day.
Death Domain Clerics. Do you want to read this one? Or should I?
The death domain is concerned with the forces that cause death, as well as the negative energy that gives rise to undead creatures. There are deities.
Sure are.
They're patrons of necromancers, death knights, liches, mummy lords, and vampires.
It's kind of neat. Like,
It's kind of like evil cleric.
yeah, evil cleric. Yeah. Um, they get animate dead. Get cloud kill. It's kind of good.
They get a pretty cool spell list. They get proficiency in martial weapons,
For some reason.
which is cool. I played one of these. It's pretty fun. Proficiency in martial weapons. Kind of means you can just like be a martial that isn't very good. But then you can just like it sort of ignores the fact that you kind of have bad cantrips, but it means you're pretty self-sufficient on your own, and you can really just keep your spell slots to be good.
Yeah.
And you don't have to use them when they're like all right. You can really just use them when they're good. I mean, some other clerics have this upside too.
Yeah, and they're usually better at it, in my opinion. Also, you get double toll the dead. Yo. Yeah, if there's two guys standing directly next to each other, you can toll the dead two of them. You can technically
That's
also
cool.
chill touch two of them, but it's...
You can also spare the dying two people if they're next to each other.
Yeah, but they probably won't be. Also, it's probably better for you to just use Healing Word or Mass Healing Word or something.
Yeah, but you could. I don't know. Animate Dead also is kind of bad. But,
It's kind of bad. Blight's pretty good. Death Ward's
I thought it was
pretty
cool
good.
when I was going to play my Cleric, and then I was like, I'm gonna spend a 3rd level slot on this. And I get a zombie with like 8 health.
Yeah, your Channel Divinity makes your melee attack slightly better. So if you hit them with a martial weapon, you can do extra necrotic damage.
I don't know. I think it's pretty fun. You do kind of lorically need to be like kind of evil. You could probably get around this. The cleric I played was kind of evil. I don't. But it's a cool way to play an evil cleric. You could probably get around it, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is exciting. It's interesting. The double necromancy cantrips are cool. I'd put this one in
It's
B,
okay.
a stronger B than I said for Arcana.
I would also put this in C, but a stronger C than I said for Arcana.
Damn!
It's not super good. Like, also, I have to keep in mind, to an extent, that there's gonna be clerics that are probably in... There's probably gonna be multiple clerics in S tier, and there probably isn't gonna be a cleric lower than C tier, if I have to guess. So...
I'll accept it in C tier.
I don't know. I think for
I feel
me,
like I'm sort of biased just because I've played it.
They're pretty cool. I mean, you kind of got that like Grim Reaper thing going for you. If you... I mean, you don't have to be super high level either, right? You just get your Channel Divinity, then maybe you could be a fighter or something. It's like, oh, I can do my spooky, stabby things and hit people. I don't know. I assume that, like, fantasy is you have a scythe, but there's
I did
not.
have this. I had a scythe. My character had a scythe with the Eternal Torch spell cast on it, so it was
Yeah.
always on fire, which didn't functionally do anything, but it was really. It was just a torch, basically, but it was cool.
Sounds cool. Forge Cleric.
Forge Cleric? Oh, wait, yeah, sorry.
The gods of the forge are patrons of artisans who work with metal, from a humble blacksmith who keeps a village in horseshoes and plow blades to the mighty elf artisan whose diamond-tipped arrows of mithril have felled demon lords. The gods of the forge teach that with patience and hard work, even the most intractable metal can be transformed from a lump of ore to a beautifully wrought object. Clerics of these deities search for objects lost to the forces of darkness, liberate mines overrun by orcs, and uncover rare and wondrous materials necessary to create potent magic items. Followers of these gods take pride in their work and are willing to craft and use heavy armor and powerful weapons to protect them. I think Forge Clerics are very good. I don't...
Weird opinion. All their features are just really insane. They're not like super, like, they don't like do a bunch of crazy stuff, but they just sort of get 100 AC and they just give their bonuses like where you want them, and they're just good at what you want them to do. They're a fairly exciting, like, concept too, like a Forge Cleric, kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, there's a lot of good roleplay potential too. You get proficiency in Smith's tools right away, and heavy.
Yeah, also their Channel Divinity's cool. You can just like make things instantly.
Yeah, also just once per day you can give yourself +1 armor. Or like your marshal a +1 weapon. Sick.
Wait, you can give anyone that, right?
It's one item.
Oh, the 6th level
at
thing
level
is.
1.
At level 1, you can give one item to it. So you could buff your allies, or you could just make yourself stronger.
+1 AC at level 1 with
It's
like
crazy.
heavy armor is
That's
super good, yeah.
I mean, you can get like I mean, technically 21 AC, but
yeah, but like
you're not gonna,
Channel Divinity is like cool too.
The Channel Divinity is cool. It's just kind of I don't know if we really need to talk about it too much. I think you should just put it in S tier and we can move on.
Well, I mean, if
I mean, I can say more about it. It's cool. All the features are just kind of good.
I'm saying if I specifically am only doing this for like the best of all of the things, you know,
then Forge Cleric should be there.
It's really good. I don't know. Is it an S tier?
It's so yes, it is. What is wrong with you?
Well, look, I think of Forge Cleric compared to Twilight Cleric specifically, and I know Twilight Cleric is going in S tier.
I'm pretty sure Forge Cleric is like one of the mechanically strongest ways to just play the game.
It is really good.
And it's cool. It has a lot of cool theming, so you should just put it in S tier because it's amazing.
I'll put it in S tier. But know that my arm is being twisted somewhat. Not very hard, admittedly, but nonetheless. Alright, Grave Domain.
Gods of the grave watch over the line between life and death. To these deities, death and the afterlife are a foundational part of the multiverse. To desecrate the peace of death is an abomination. Deities of the grave are people. Followers of these deities seek to put wandering spirits to rest, destroy the undead, and ease the suffering of the dying. Their magic allows them to stave off death for a time, particularly for a person who still has some great work to accomplish in the world. This is a delay of death, not a denial of. for death will eventually get its due.
Yeah, so we have a death domain cleric twice.
No, this is the good side.
Yeah. It's death domain
This is
cleric,
like
but you're
a
nice this
pretty
time. Sure.
well. Death Domain Cleric is like a celebration of death and undeath, but Grave is a beauty of the sanctity of death and a hatred of undeath.
Look, to me, that's the same stuff. So
It's not the same. It's very different. They're very like at odds
yeah, I
with
don't
each
know.
other.
I could play the same character either subclass.
Oh my
Just saying.
god. Grave is very thematically cool, I think. It's a very cool, like, somber character.
I see.
Someone who really appreciates life in vision of death. That sort of this impermanence gives it this beauty. They have some really cool features, like their um, um, channel divinity gives things like sorry, it has vulnerability to all damage for like one turn, essentially,
Oh, I see.
which is like really interesting. You can like stop crits, which is cool, as you're like sort of stopping someone from being like brought closer to death and stuff. I don't know. I think it's like really neat, and you can like it's a pretty good support effect of specifically like when you um when you heal someone who's down, they get max healing, so you can sort of really stabilize a fight,
Sure.
and they get like a baby divine sense. I don't know. This class is cool.
Yeah.
This guy. This
All
should be
right.
an A.
This should be an A. What the heck?
Yeah, it's cool. It's very thematic. It's pretty good.
Nah.
It's fun.
No way.
No way. Ugh.
It's all right. I mean,
Ugh.
it's not bad. I mean, Path to the Grave is pretty cool. Um, as far as I can tell, it's just the next attack the creature's vulnerable to, right? So you could just
Yeah.
use it on something that's resistant to something normally,
Yeah.
and then they're not.
Then they're
Which is
vulnerable to it.
it's very good.
Or you could just have a big hit and you hit them.
And it just says the
Cool.
next attack. So, you know, it doesn't have to be anything specific. You could just use this and then someone could use their 10th level spell on it. Because 10th level spells are real for sure. Yeah, and just obliterate something. Which is solid. It's solid. Circle of Mortality is actually pretty good. Because I feel like most of the time when you're healing someone, it's when they're at 0 HP. So if you're healing them with something that uses a lot of dice, you can get a lot of value out of it, which is nice.
Yeah, you could just walk up to someone who's like a 5th level cure wounds, and then they're at like full.
Yeah. I mean, Blessed Strikes and its constituents are not super good anyway, but potent spellcasting is not an exception. It's also just kind of bad.
It's okay.
But every cleric gets it, so it doesn't really count against it. Not being crit sometimes is kind of cool.
Bro, that's hype.
Yeah.
That's like a
It's
baby,
pretty good.
it's like a baby, what's that thing? The that wizard spell that everyone hates. Silvery barbs. It's like a baby silvery barbs. What always works against crits, but it never makes it not a hit. You
Yeah,
know? It's like
sure.
kind of good, and it has no uses. You can just do it.
No,
Or no,
it's
it does have
wisdom.
uses, but like I don't know, you're not gonna use the whole. Well, you're being crit all the time. You can also spare the dying as a bonus action from 30 feet. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's all right,
It's
but
not like crazy, but it's like pretty good. There's no use on that one. Just do it. That makes spare the dying like worth using.
sure. I don't know. A's fine. I'm kind of convinced. It's not like I wouldn't
Woo!
use any of this stuff. So
Woo! I win.
it's a little underwhelming, but it's also just kind of solid.
Woo!
Um. All right. Knowledge domain. Whoa. The gods of knowledge, including a bunch of people, value learning and understanding above all. Some teach that knowledge is to be gathered and shared in libraries and universities or promote the practical knowledge of craft and invention. Some deities hoard knowledge and keep secrets to themselves. Some promise their followers they'll gain tremendous power if they unlock the secrets of the multiverse. Followers of these gods study esoteric lore, collect tomes, delve into secret places of the earth, and learn all they can. Um, so yeah. Uh, they're here.
Oh, this is the one you wanted me to play, not Arcana. That's right. This one is just Arcana domain, but lame.
It's it's kind of bad. It's kind of bad. Yeah. Just they the only like good feature they get is their level 17 feature, and
What's level 17
it's
feature?
only good if you hate your DM and the game that you're playing. So
Everything they can do
yeah.
is so underwhelming. You get like 2 expertises
You get 2 languages,
and 2
and you get 2
languages.
expertises in
Yeah,
either history or religion or nature or arcana, which is super awesome. Yay!
I mean that's like okay, but
You can be proficient in a tool for 10 minutes
you
for
could also
channel
just take a
divinity.
level in Rogue and then pick anything.
Yo,
Um, this one's lame.
yeah, it's kind of
F tier.
lame. FT. It's not F tier, is it? It's really bad. I'm gonna put it here.
Oh,
Uh,
that's probably where it should be.
just because it's still a cleric, it's still useful. Like getting expertise into mediocre skills is something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't need to talk too much about knowledge domain. Life domain cleric.
The life domain focuses on the vibrant positive energy, one of the fundamental forces of the universe that sustains all life. The gods of life promote vitality and health through healing the sick and wounded, caring for those in need, and driving away the forces of death and undeath. Almost any non-evil deity can claim influence over this domain, particularly some of these ones, and also some of those, and a few other ones.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's the cleric.
It sure is. And you get heavy armor. Just cause.
Because it's good. Just getting heavy armor is pretty good. You're just better at healing than anyone else in the game, and you don't
Kind of.
really get anything else. But being better at healing is pretty good.
You're not quite as good at healing, sort of, as Twilight Domain Clerics or Stars Druids, but also you can take one level of this as a Stars Druid. It's kind of fun. I would recommend it. But you know, they're very good. You know, can't really be upset about it. They're just solid.
Twilight pilled. 2 Twilight pilled. They're just kind of good.
I'm not Twilight pilled just because they printed an overpowered subclass. That's not my fault.
They're just good. I don't know. They're probably just because they're not that. They're
Yeah.
kind of just a cleric, which I think demotes them slightly from being an S. Because they're just I'm a cleric, and their lore is literally like literally any god could be this domain because you're just the cleric.
Yeah. You heal stuff. It's good. At level 7, you get that level 1 feature. Not 7. Level 17, you get that level 1 feature from Brave Cleric, except they don't have to be at 0 HP. It's pretty nice. Just mass cure wounds people. And then you can still add your Disciple of Life onto that. Pretty cool. And on the off chance that you're like almost dead, you can heal yourself to full instantly with Blessed Healer in that situation. It's the tits. Yeah, I don't know.
You can put yourself at the front because you have heavy armor, and then all your healing spells get like double value.
I'm put it at A tier. I think it's better than Clerics though.
It's definitely better than Grave Cleric.
Light Domain Clerics. This is a cleric that I feel like I've always
You didn't read the thing.
I know, I'm gonna read the thing afterwards.
Let's
I'm just
read it
saying.
first.
But fine, whatever. Gods of Light promote the ideals of rebirth and renewal, truth, vigilance, and beauty, often using the symbol of the sun. Some of these gods are portrayed as the sun itself, or a charioteer who guides the sun across the sky. Others are tireless sentinels whose eyes pierce the very shadow and see through deception. Some are deities of beauty and artistry, who teach that art is a vehicle for the soul's improvement. Clerics of the god of light are enlightened and infused with the radiance and power of their god's discerning vision, charged with chasing away lies and burning away darkness. There you go. Anyways, as I was saying, this is a cleric subclass that I overlooked for a long time because I thought it was boring. I'm like, who wants to be a light domain cleric? I mean, I think I was wrong to do that because I think it's very good.
It does kind of sound like cleric again, but like it's not a healer, so I do it. I think is kind of possibly why
the damage cleric.
Then they're actually like a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, they go crazy. They get fairy fire, scorching ray, fireball, wall of fire.
You're just
flame
like
strike. It's pretty sick.
You're just like a little guy in your little priest robes, and then you press the nuclear launch code button, and you explode.
Yeah, warding flare is good as well. This isn't a thing that is implemented in the game, but it's in Baldur's Gate, and I think it's in I think it's a 1D&D thing too, but I don't know if they're gonna print it. But you can, in those, you could use warding flare on allies within 30 feet of you as well.
Can you?
Yeah.
I thought you could only use it on yourself.
Well, actually, no. I think maybe it was in Baldur's Gate. I thought you could do that, and you can't. I don't know.
I don't think it is in Baldur's
Whatever.
Gate.
It's pretty good. You blind someone if they're gonna hit you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's not like amazing or anything, and getting the light cantrip is also not very good. So taking like a level in this isn't super good. You get good spells.
And your channel divinity scales with level, so you really kind of want to go all in.
Yeah, your channel
They
divinity
would be
does
a
a lot of
lot
damage.
better.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
you
what
go
it
medium
is.
armor.
At
It's
6th
good.
level, you can use Warding Flare on other people.
Oh, how it is? Oh, yeah. That's what it is. Pretty good. I think it's a little awkward because your things and AoE around you, but you're kind of more of a spellcaster, so you don't really want to be in the middle of everyone, so it makes it a little awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have a shield and medium armor, so it's not like you're that squishy. So, but you don't really have like melee stuff to do other than be a bomb.
Yeah. Also,
So
Corona
I
of
still
Light
feel
is sick. I mean, it's kind of just Fireball Cleric. And admittedly, you can just play Fireball Wizard. Or, like, Fireball Sorcerer.
but that's fun. You're still a support, is the point. You still have cleric spells. You just also can blow up.
Yeah, and I mean, your 6th level Warding Flare is just really good, in my opinion. But, yeah, it's good.
It's cool. I'd put it in B.
I would
It's like
too.
pretty cool.
It's
But
pretty good. But, yeah,
it's a
it's
little
not...
awkward. It's pretty fun.
It's not
The
broken.
yeah, I don't know.
Nature Domain Clerics.
Oh, sorry. Gods of nature are as varied as the natural world itself, from inscrutable gods of the deep forest to friendly deities associated with particular springs and groves. Druids revere nature as a whole and might serve one of these deities, practicing mysterious rites and reciting all but forgotten prayers in their own secret tongue. But many of these gods have clerics as well, champions who take more active role in advancing the interests of particular nature god. These clerics might hunt evil monstrosities that despoil the woodlands, bless harvests of the faithful, or wither crops of those who anger their gods.
Yeah. So, Nature Domain Clerics. The most obvious thing here is you get a Druid cantrip. You don't get proficiency in martial weapons, so you take Shillelagh. It's not, like, super good or anything, but you'll probably max your wisdom, and, you know, it's a thing.
Cleric cantrips kind of suck, and on the other hand, Druid cantrips also suck, except Shillelagh technically exists, which is okay.
Yeah, it's aight. You also get a proficiency in a skill, so we're already and heavy armor. So we're up on
Heavy
knowledge
armor.
domain pretty much all around.
I think the theming's kind of because you're kind of just a druid,
Kinda.
but it's not like Arcane where it's like you're kind of like a wizard, but you're more of a support. Because two druids can just be a support, so you're kind of like a support that's more of a support. I mean, it's less interesting.
Yeah. Animal
You could,
friendship and speak with animals are not super useful either.
I mean, dampen elements is good.
Oh, I mean, I guess speak with animals is okay because you do have ritual casting. It's not.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you could just get. I feel like you could
Druids
just
get
get
it.
medium armor or heavy armor on a druid, which
Well, it's difficult to get
is
heavy
a bit
armor on a
awkward to do
druid.
that. And you get one level in fighter, or you could just take heavily armored.
Yeah, but raw as well, you can't wear metal armor, so you'd have to find heavy armor that isn't made of metal.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, it's kind of a fake rule.
I mean, I think it's a bad rule, but also
If you're,
it
especially if
does
you're theming
exist.
with like, I'm more of a cleric, I'm just functionally a druid. If your DM was like, actually, you can't wear metal armor, then
Yeah,
that's That's kind of cringe.
Also, your channel divinity is bad. It's just bad. Dampen
Yeah.
elements is okay, but there's dampen elements is also a first level spell. It's not called dampen elements, but
I mean, it's a reaction that you can use on other.
yeah, so is
not
that.
absorb elements
Absorb
is
elements is a
something you
reaction.
can only use on yourself.
That's
It's
true.
also
You can only use it on yourself.
dampen elements.
Also, I think absorb elements is bad.
Dampen elements doesn't have a use.
That is
can just-
true.
Every turn. So if you're
You do
fighting,
have
like,
to take damage, and I don't know. It's a reaction to not take that much damage on one turn. If you're fighting like a dragon, it's okay. It's not awesome.
I don't know. It's pretty awesome.
It's,
Dragon hits you for
it's
80
kind of
damage, and you give it to someone who takes 40 instead. I think that's pretty heavy. Do that every
you can
time.
absorb elements yourself.
Fine.
Also, if you just have fire resistance and you're fighting a fire dragon, don't use the feature.
Yeah, but you could use it on the guy that doesn't have fire.
I'm just saying.
Resistance is good!
It's good, but it's not that good.
It's pretty good.
If there were better resistances, I'd agree.
The rest of your features in this class are kind of terrible.
Yeah, you can
This
command
feature is-
things that you charm. So, you know.
I don't know. This one's kind of a D.
If at 17th level you find yourself in a room full of treants and or bears or something, that all like willingly fail their saves, you can have like a bunch of fun creatures.
You could just collect bears.
For a minute, though. It's
Oh, wow.
it's bad.
Yeah.
Also,
That's
they get pretty much any beast late game minus T-Rex and giant ape gets one shot by everything at 17 plus. So
also like T-Rexes and giant apes are like CR8, and they're the highest CR beasts. I mean, there's some higher CR plants, but not that much higher CR plants. So you're probably not fighting unless your DM is like, here's 30 T-Rexes, which I guess is probably a pretty hard fight, but I don't know. Your DM could throw you a bone and go, here's 30 T-Rexes, and then you win the combat with your level 2 feature, or like a lich with like 30 T-Rexes, you take them all. I mean, they couldn't technically be undead, but like Giga Man with 100 T-Rexes, you take them all over and then they eat him.
yeah.
That's not gonna happen. So
yeah.
I don't know. I put it in D tier.
They do get spike growth, which is good, and plant growth, which is good.
No.
Bro just says no.
But they aren't good.
I think they're good.
You can do some funny things with spike growth.
Tree stride's okay.
Like a warlock who can push things around, but
yeah, I don't know.
You're playing in my campaign. I've been trying to do for my entire campaign.
I put them in C tier.
Fine.
Because at least they get heavy armor proficiency and dampen elements.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
All right, Order Cleric. The Order domain represents discipline as well as devotion to a society or an institution and strict obedience to laws governing it. Ew, I hate it already. On Ravnica, the domain is favored by clerics of the Azorius Senate. Ew, I hate it already. Azorius is cancer. And the Orzhov Syndicate. Oh, never mind. Maybe they're based. Hold on.
Bro.
The ideal of order is obedience of the law of all else, rather than a specific individual or passing influence of emotion or popular rule. Clerics of order are typically concerned with how things are done, rather than whether an action's results are just. Following the law and obeying its edicts are critical, especially when it benefits these clerics and their guilds or deities. Laws establishes hierarchies. Those selected by the law to lead must be obeyed. Those who obey to do so to the best of their ability in this manner, law creates an intricate web of obligations that allows society to forge order and security within a chaotic multiverse. So, I don't know. What I'm hearing is you're a lame paladin, basically.
Damn.
You get command, which is okay, but you get it anyway. You get heroism, which is bad.
Heroism is good.
No.
Sometimes.
Hold person and zone of truth, which clerics get anyway. Mass healing word, which you get anyway. You get slow though. Slow's pretty good, and you don't get that usually.
Really good.
Compulsion's fine. Locate creature is something you get already. Commune you get already, and dominate person's pretty good. Yeah.
Their features are good.
They get heavy armor. Again. They also get intimidation or persuasion.
What? Oh, you do get heavy armor. I missed that. Yeah, they're good. It's kind of they kind of got the like nature domain channel divinity, but it's usable
Also,
and pretty good.
at level
You can
1,
charm like a bunch of people.
using Bless on an ally and then them being able to attack as a reaction is very nice.
Yeah, it doesn't really fall off though.
It can if people take like Polearm Master and they're using their reaction every turn anyway. But then I suppose they could just
Yeah,
use it
but
on
if
like a ranger because they could just shoot. So
does it not specify? No, it's just a weapon attack.
yeah,
I
it
thought it
just says a
specified
weapon.
melee.
That you just have to be able to see it. So bow users rejoice. Voice of authority is
That's
very
pretty
good.
good. And you just use it. You could use it on like a barbarian or a fighter. If they're really dependent on their reaction, which most people aren't.
I
They
wouldn't say
can be,
that.
but
I'd say
most.
a fighter or a barbarian's like 50-50 whether they're using the reaction or not.
I mean, the reaction is just generally like an opportunity attack. But if they want their reaction for an opportunity attack, this is just giving them that without them needing to hit the requirement for an opportunity
It can
attack.
be good anyway. For sure.
And if you have like a ranger or someone using a bow or something rogue,
It's just great.
technically like the ruling on rogues where they can sneak attack on reactions is could
They
make
can,
this
yeah.
crazy. That is technically the ruling.
That'd be
Which
awesome.
probably shouldn't be the ruling, but it'd be really good with that. Their features is kinda good. And then at 6th level they can just make their first level spells bonus actions.
So yeah, literally Order's Demand is just better than the Nature Clerics one.
Yeah, it's just better. You can just I mean, you only charm things for a turn instead, but it works on everything. So you don't have to fight like a fungus
Yo, fungus.
for it to be useful. And for a you really don't want a feature that you can use on a short rest.
Also, Embodiment of the Law is very good.
to be like very situational. Because they are the other one, which is turn undead, which all of them get, is already situational. So you don't want two situational options that never come up. Then that's a big part of your class that you just don't get to use.
Yeah.
Unless your DM is like, here's a bunch of undead and fungus.
Yo, fungus.
Yeah, they get to hit things. It's just kind of good. They can do spells as bonus actions, which is less good if you don't. I mean, like, if your action isn't that exciting.
Yeah, I guess technically, raw, you just use bless as a bonus action and then, like, hold the dead. But also...
Yeah, that's cool, but if your DM is allowing you to cast, like, critical role rules where you can cast a low-level spell and then another leveled spell as long as it's, like, under, if it's second level or under, which is what I play with,
you use
and that's
Guiding Bolt.
way stronger. Well, because you're casting a low-level spell already as a bonus action, so then you can cast any spell. You cast, like, a fifth-level spell with it or something.
That's true. Blesses.
And then it's just kind of like, if you wanted to cast a first level spell, you just cast it. But if you want to cast a high level spell, you could cast it and a first level spell, which is kind of hype.
Yeah, and I want to say it's not likely that you're going to be able to make use of that, but also I think almost every table I've seen that isn't playing it 100% raw has some sort of homebrew rule that lets you do stuff with bonus action spells.
Because, like, you're using the spell slot anyway. You're going to run out of... If you just use it all the time, you're going to run spell slots, which is like a resource. So I feel like... I don't know. You're more explosive of a character, but you run out of resources faster. And then it feels more interesting when you're like, I'm stuck having to use my cantrips because I'm like out of stuff. I'm really like tapped out. It's like kind of cool. I don't know. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me that you can only cast spell in a turn as well, too.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, cantrips are less power, but like, I don't know. It kind of just feels like a balance thing and not like a sense.
Your level 17 feature is really ass, though. Because at level 17, you have like 9th level spells. You don't want to hit people with a melee weapon. You don't even get proficiency in
you don't get
martial weapon.
This class would be way more hype if you got martial weapon proficiency, I would say.
So yeah, having to hit people with a Divine Strike to do an extra 2d8 once.
If you didn't get heavy armor and you got martial weapon proficiency instead, I think this class would be way cooler. Because I feel like that was more interesting for this class fantasy, right?
Well, you could use a bow on Divine Strike then, which would be nice.
Yeah. I mean, technically, you could also just get, like, bracers of archery.
It would make Order's Wrath usable, but it's kind of bad. But yeah,
I mean, if you have bracers of archery, you can just have a longbow, actually.
Yeah.
That sounds sick. That sounds like a sick build. I want to do that now.
I still think they're even if their level 17 feature is bad, because most of the time you're not even going to be level 17, so who cares?
And if you have bracers of archery...
Yeah.
Maybe it's hype. Maybe it's hype. I don't know.
Peace Domain Cleric.
The balm of peace thrives the heart of healthy communities between friendly nations and in the souls of the kind-hearted. The gods of peace inspire people of all sorts to resolve conflict and stand up against those forces that try to prevent peace from flourishing. See the Peace Domain deities table for a list of some gods associated with this domain.
Thanks.
Clerics of the Peace Domain preside over the signing of treaties and they are often asked to
Arbitrate.
arbitrate
Yeah.
in disputes. I've never heard that word before. These clerics' blessings draw people together and help them should one another's burden shoulder one another's burden, and the cleric's magic aids those who are driven to fight for the way of peace.
Wow. If I'm
Wow.
not mistaken, I vaguely recall that peace domain clerics are incredibly good and will probably be an S tier. Maybe I
They're,
am wrong.
they're pretty good.
Um,
They kind of just walk around and make people invincible.
I get proficiency in a skill. Wow.
Their channel divinity. The big thing here is their channel divinity is um
They get Luke's Resilient Sphere, yo.
they also get like baby bless, just like kind of for free,
Yeah,
which is kind of cool.
it's
Um,
not concentration either, so you could just use Bless and Baby Bless.
own it with stack too. I didn't consider that.
Yeah, because they're different
Would stack, would stack with a
forces,
blast.
yeah.
Um, yeah, that is true. They have different names. You can only use the baby blast once. So if you had like extra attack, you're not getting it twice. Uh, you're not getting it on every attack.
Yeah.
You can't use it on like an attack roll and a saving throw.
Nope.
It's kind of annoying to keep track of, but
A little bit. Pretty good though.
it's good though, yeah. And you can use it a number of times equal to your which is kind of a lot. I mean, it's a pretty good number of times. It's not like a ton, but it's
Yeah,
probably as many times as you'd want to use it.
probably.
Um,
It'll last for 10 minutes. You'll use this in 2 combats early on in the game. It's probably fine.
you aren't really gonna below level 5. You aren't really gonna take more than 2 combats a day. Probably above level
Yeah, because you
5
die
a day.
after a combat.
Um, and then once you're like really high level, it's rare that you take like 5 combats a day.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. It's good. Your channel divinity
It's kind
is
of
really
boring.
good. Yeah, but it's good.
It's
You just
solid.
get to run around and heal a very relevant amount of healing.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Especially at level 2. 2d6 plus
Yeah,
your wisdom mod is very good.
very powerful feature when you get it. It doesn't scale like quite as hard. It doesn't really scale
Yeah. I mean, ever so often you'll think it's worth it to
like nuclear
disengage
bomb
for
cleric.
free and get a heal, but yeah.
I mean, it's an action, but you can move your speed as an action, so it's also kind of like a dash. So it's like a dash and a disengage,
Protective
kinda.
Bond is a weird feature.
Um, yeah, protective bond is a weird feature. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a make the barbarian better button.
And make the wizard not die, but
It's pretty solid.
you're probably only using it like once or twice, maybe. But there could be some hype scenarios. Because
Yeah,
you're probably just using like your barbarian to take a hit for like the wizard or the cleric or something. And then no one's taking a hit for the barbarian. Um Oh wait, you doesn't. I was thinking it used it like you can just do this
Yeah.
every time.
Yep.
I misread that. I thought it was each person bonded could do this once.
No, you can
No,
just
the
use it.
barbarian, it's just kind of hype. Like I don't. Once again, I guess the other part is like the other people aren't gonna do it, just the tank. But
Yeah.
it's pretty good. That's better than I had thought it was. I've never played with a peace domain cleric,
They're pretty solid.
uh, but they're
Um,
pretty.
17th, it increases the range to 60. Good. Lets people actually walk
And
away
it
from
gets
you.
resistance to damage
Which, I
when
mean,
they
if you
do
use it
it.
on the barbarian, it might not be helpful. I mean, I guess if he's not playing bear barbarian.
Yeah, but it also means other people, like you could, other people are a lot more willing because it's kind of just like you're halving all the damage you take from your your party at that point, right?
Yeah, you can
Like
just.
for a reaction, your whole party just takes half damage to everything.
That's true. If everyone just takes it all the time, you're just always taking half damage, pretty much.
Yeah, which you might not want to do every time, but if you're taking half damage, it's
Pretty
likely that you want to
good.
do it. It's pretty good. Yeah.
um,
Um, I don't know. This one's just kind of really good.
yeah, I see no downside. Their spell list is kind of mid, I guess. Uh, but
I guess, but they're just kind of good spells. They're
and they
kind of
don't
like
get
all
heavy
cleric spells,
armor.
except they get sending, which is a hype spell to have.
I think I put peace here.
Yeah, I think it might deserve to be an S because it's so good, but it's not very exciting.
It's not.
Uh,
Yeah, it's solid. But it's not like something I would be running to play.
yeah,
I'm not. I'm definitely not like, yo, I want to make a peace domain cleric right now.
I kind of want to make a bow order domain cleric though right now.
Do it then, coward.
Maybe I will.
Um,
Uh, Tempest, gods whose portfolios include the Tempest domain, um, govern storm, sea, and sky. They include gods of lightning and thunder, gods of earthquake, some fire gods, and certain gods of violence, physical strength, and courage. In some pantheons, a god of this domain rules over other deities and is known for their swift justice delivered by thunderbolts. In these pantheons of seafaring people, gods of this domain are ocean deities and patrons of sailors. Tempest gods send their clerics to inspire fear in the common folk, either to keep those folk on the path of righteousness or encourage them to offer sacrifices of porpitation to ward off divine wrath.
um, very cool, very sick.
Weird to say gods whose portfolio includes Tempest. Weird choice of words, but you know.
um,
It's
yeah,
also interesting that it says gods of earthquakes and fire and volcanoes when it really only synergizes with lightning only
and thunder.
and thunder. But yeah, it's not fire and earthquakes and lava.
Yeah.
Um,
Um. Yeah. It's as we're rating these based on like just uh the subclass, like essentially all the way through 17. I mean, I'll bring up multi-classing, but uh, it's not gonna affect its ranking too much, I don't think. Uh, this is a really good uh subclass to take 2 levels in if you're playing like Storm Cleric, not Storm Cleric, Storm Sorcerer, or like a Wizard. There's a lot of lightning damage because Oh boy, you love having heavy armor proficiency and being able to max damage chain lightning once per day. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty crazy.
on its own, it's okay.
On its own, it's kind of like it's got some cool ideas of you max damaging lightning, and you can like push people away from you, and you get heavy armor and martial armor. You get to be like a brawler kind of martial mage damage cleric, but it kind of just isn't that good.
Yeah, it kind of
You don't really have the
expects
spells for
you
it.
to walk up to people and hit them with like maybe a greatsword or like a maul, I guess. And uh there's not really like at level 8, right? You can do thunder damage and then you can push them away if you do that. That's kind of cool, but you can only hit them once per turn and you're a cleric, so your martial abilities don't scale super well, so it's kind of unfortunate, I guess.
Yeah, which makes you kind of want to multi-class and get like 5 levels in a martial, and then you kind of want to get. I don't know. Whenever I see anyone want to play this, they're like, "Well, I kind of want extra attack, so I kind of want to go like fighter 5," and I also kind of want actual lightning spells because clerics don't get any. So you really only have call lightning, which doesn't really work very well with the fantasy because it's more of a sustained damage thing, and your channel divinity is I hit you with one big thing that does 1,000,000,000 damage,
Yeah.
and it's not good for that, and it's not good for your other features. So you kind of want other things. So it ends up kind of being like, I want to be Tempest with 5 levels in fighter, and then like 5 levels in wizard, and then the class is just then you're just like a mess, and it's bad. It just kind of I don't know.
I would
That's
recommend if you want to play this, uh, play it with either Land Druid, with 2 levels in this with a Land Druid or a um, Storm Sorcerer, um, or
Yeah,
take 8 levels in this and 5 levels in Ranger, and you'll have a good time. It's not the like most amazing subclass ever. And if you take it all the way up, you get Flight at level 17. Wow, that's so cool that you get that. But you could have just been an Owlin the whole time, or learned Fly at level 3.
well, you
Well,
can't
not
use it
level
if you're
3, but
inside too.
yeah, you can't. Yeah, if you're indoors or underground, you can't fly. So
But I
you're
mean, it's pretty good. I mean, but you could just be an yeah.
you can also just cast
I mean,
flying on yourself as a
table,
different
man.
character.
I mean, it's not concentration.
Yeah, but
I don't know. It really feels like though you kind of have to. They are like a martial caster, but they're not good at either.
yeah.
And you're sacrificing your actual support power to get it as well. And in order to really land on it, you're kind of like, well, I want to lean into the martial aspect, but you have all this caster shit that you can't use then.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, I want to lean into the caster stuff, but then you still have all this martial stuff you can't use. And so you're kind of just losing huge parts of your class, like no matter what you do, which feels really bad.
It's a little unfortunate.
If they just got, I feel like they should just get lightning bolt instead of call lightning.
I
If
mean, if
I'm
they did, they'd be pretty good.
They would be pretty good. I don't think they'd be better
They don't though.
Forge domain. So I feel like they should kind of just get it, but they don't. So whatever.
Yeah. So I don't know. They're kind of bad. I put them in C tier.
Yeah.
Maybe like above Arcana. But yeah. Tempest Domain on its own is just unfortunately not super good.
I really don't like having class features that are like worthless to me or overlap. And you
Yeah, me
do that
neither.
in Tempest, and it just feels really bad to me to go, well, I mean, you could just not make use of your huge class feature, or you could not make use of another huge class.
it it does feel really bad. I
Yeah.
do not like it when it's like you get proficiency in a
It's
martial weapon, but
so
there's no
clunky.
reason for you to use it. Well,
Yeah, which I think like Grave or Death does, but like I think there's like a reason to use Death.
Death sorta tries to make you use it, at least better than Tempest does. But
Yeah, it's not like great, but there's a good reason to use it. You're just not great anyway. It's not like a amazingly fantastic class, but this one is just sort of like I don't know. It just feels too clunky. Whatever.
um, trickery domain, cleric. Um, gods of trickery, such as are mischief makers and instigators who stand as a constant challenge to the accepted order among both gods and immortals. They're patrons of thieves, scoundrels, gamblers, rebels, and liberators. Their clerics are a disruptive force in the world, puncturing pride, mocking tyrants, stealing from the rich, freeing captives, and flouting. Wait, what? Oh, and flouting hollow traditions. I'm like, it just ends with that? They prefer subterfuge, pranks, and deception and theft rather than direct confrontation. Um, yeah, trickery domain clerics.
Woo!
They're getting reworked in one D and
Welcome
D,
to
and
the Witcher's Bard of Clerics.
they looked really good in
I
one
don't
D
know.
and D.
It's not good here.
It's really bad.
It's
It's
kind of funny,
it's terrible.
but it's pretty bad. You could be funnier if you
Giving
just
someone advantage
played
on stealth checks
fun.
for an hour isn't very good. Um, chances are your rogue either has expertise in stealth or your ranger has pass without a trace. This doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, just be better with pass without a. I mean, you get pass without a, so you
You,
could stack it with
you
pass without a.
do, yeah, but
It's
it's
pretty good,
you could use it on
and then
yourself, I guess.
it's better if you're like. I mean, it's not
Um,
as good to use on like a rogue. It's more like I use it on like my paladin
yeah,
or
but
something,
if he's wearing
and
heavy
then
armor, then it's just normal, right? Because if you give someone advantage, he has
yeah.
disadvantage. Cancel.
But if you have pass without a if you're like trying to party stealth and you give it to like your paladin, and then you all have passed without a trace.
Yeah.
That's like improving your odds of success by like a huge amount. Especially if your DM's like, well, I mean, it doesn't really matter what any. It only really matters one guy, which is a little mean, but you know.
Um, yeah. Invoke duplicity is bad. Um,
It's like almost unusable.
it's quite bad. Um,
Yeah, it's so much action economy too. And it's
yeah.
kind of you can like meme some combats if your DM's like, well, I mean they're dumb, so I don't really understand that it's an
I think an
illusion.
important thing to note is that you're a cleric. If you were like a sorcerer, this might be usable, but this is concentration. And the big thing that you get is you cast a spell through your guy. And if if the thing you're casting a spell against is super distracted by your guy, you get advantage. The spells you're going to be casting most likely are like Spirit Guardians or Spiritual Weapon, which don't matter, or concentration spells, which you can't use if you're using this.
I
So
mean,
it's a big L.
you could cast it through it and then lose it,
You could cast through it and then lose
and then
concentration,
it's kind of like an empowered.
but it's also 2 actions.
But you also should. You could just be a sorcerer. Also, this is kind. You don't get the advantage thing, but you could just be like Scribe's Wizard, and it's like the same feature where you can like make a thing and then cast through it.
Also,
But it's like way better in Scribe's Wizard because it doesn't have all
At
the
level 6, instead of a cool feature, you get another Channel Divinity, which is just using the invisibility spell on only yourself, and it's not even greater invisibility.
It was once per turn. It's for 1 turn too. Which
Um,
isn't terrible. I mean, it's like permanent invis combat, right?
is that how that works?
Yeah, you could just
Permanent
use
out
your
of combat?
Yeah, you could just use your action. It has no uses, so you can
It
just use your
does.
action.
It's a Channel Divinity, bro. It has uses.
Oh.
You have 2 Channel Divinities.
Oh, I misread this.
Yeah, no, it's really not good.
Oh, that's really terrible. I thought it was you got another channel divinity and you got to do this.
No, just using invisibility as a 3rd level spell or 2nd
It's
level
not
spell?
a invisibility though, because it's for 1 turn. This is
Yeah.
like so unusable.
Well,
I've
I'm
never
saying
seen anyone play this to
there we go.
level
It's a 2nd level spell.
because
But
it's
yeah, just
horrendous.
using invisibility is better, and you get 3 uses of
It's an
invisibility at level
action to
6.
turn invisible for 1 turn.
Yeah,
That's
it's horrible.
terrible.
For the resource cost of 2 Channel Divinity.
See, I was thinking, like, for no uses, this is okay.
Yeah, if it didn't say Channel Divinity, it would be like a mid feature.
I mean, it would be permanent invis out of combat, which would probably be a massive nightmare for your. But it wouldn't be that strong functionally.
Yeah, I
It
guess.
wouldn't be that much better than you being able to cast invisibility like 3 times.
Also, you get. Luckily, Blessed Strikes exist, but your Divine Strike is poison damage on this one, which is probably one of the worst damage types there are.
Yeah, but it's still funny.
Yeah, but you're not gonna be hitting people. You're not gonna like. Could
It's
you imagine playing a poisoned dagger trickster domain cleric? I don't think you could make a weaker character.
Just put it in F tier and move on, okay?
Okay.
It's
I will.
bad.
I will. Don't mind if I do.
Down there with Porcupine Barbarian.
Yeah, Porcupine Barbarian, bro.
Woo! So anyway, Twilight Domain.
Uh,
The twilight transition from light into darkness often brings calm and even joy as the day's labor is end and the hours of rest begin. The darkness can also bring terrors, but the gods of Twilight guard against the horrors of the night. Clerics who serve these deities, which appear on the Twilight deities table, bring comfort to those who seek rest and protect them by venturing into the encroaching darkness to ensure the dark is a comfort, not a terror.
Yeah. Twilight Domain spells. Wow. Anyway, they get pretty good spells. Greater Invis. Get Fairy Fire. At level 1, Sleep's pretty good.
They get sleep! Yeah, sleep's actually pretty usable for the first, like, 3 levels, and then it isn't, but, you know.
Yeah, but if you're playing, like, a one-shot that goes from, like, level 1 to 3, having a character that has Sleep is very useful.
Yeah. Occasionally, you can see use higher than that for, like, on goons or something. There's, like, 100 goblins or something, you just put them all to sleep.
Yeah.
Generally, that doesn't come up. Or if there's, like, a guy you want to subdue and you know he's on really low health, you could, like, put him to sleep and then tie him up or something. It's sort of like an easier way to non-thing. It's not worthless, but it's generally not very usable past the early levels.
Yeah, anyway, so...
you get Tiny Hut, which is cool, though.
This is very good.
Mislead is funny.
I'm gonna put it in S tier, but I'll still talk about why. You get
Wow.
proficiency with martial weapons and heavy armor. All right, we already have that. The good cleric thing. So if you just take a level in cleric as any character, you will get that. Eyes of Night. You get 300-foot dark vision, and wow, wouldn't you know it, you can give it to your entire team. It's pretty good. Admittedly, you could just be like, well, actually every race in 5e has dark vision already, so it's useless, but you know, sometimes you don't have it, and now you do. There you go. DMs rejoice. There's no point in putting darkness in any of your maps. Well, I mean, that's kind of not true, but
That's not necessary.
it's also kind of true.
It's
You're
kinda true
you're
if you have
sort
a
of wasting your time.
Yeah, it's true if you have a Twilight domain. I mean, it lasts in hours. You kind of have to like do it preemptively if you know there's gonna be darkness or something.
Yeah, or you could just
technically
you
just
could
do
be
it.
the salty TM, which to be honest, I don't blame you because I would do it too and just make every darkness magical darkness and say fuck you. Vigilant Blessing is very good. You just give someone advantage on initiative. You don't have to know when initiative's coming. You just give it to someone.
Yeah, it's just the next initiative.
It's good. Yeah.
And then their Channel Divinity.
Channel Divinity is
Very
giga
good.
dumb.
I mean, you just give temp HP and an AoE.
Yeah, you just give temp HP and an AoE, right?
Which is just really good. Especially if you have like a barbarian or something.
Yeah, but it's every turn for
Like
a minute
massive.
you give temp HP.
Yeah, it's just like a massive.
And if they're in your sphere, they can't be charmed or frightened. I mean, they can, but you can just be like, nah. It's so good.
Well, you can either give them the temp HP or end a charm or frighten. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't give them both.
I mean, the temp HP doesn't scale. It does scale.
It does.
It doesn't scale great. It scales pretty good though.
And it's every turn.
It is every turn, which is very powerful.
And as a 10th
AoE.
level cleric, you can be giving people 16 temp HP every turn.
Yeah, you know, it does kind of just actually. I was kind of. And then you can just give people fly speeds for a minute as a bonus action.
Yeah, if you're in dim light or darkness, give yourself flies. It's pretty cool. It's like the Tempest cleric thing, except you get it at 6th level, and you can use it as a bonus action. Although, technically, it's not as good because you have to be in dim light or darkness to fly. So.
Well, you could use it in cave.
Yeah, you can't use it in caves. Yo, wait. It's a direct opposition. You just use it in a cave.
And then at 17, your whole party has half cover at all times.
Yeah.
I don't really get the theme. I feel like I wanted to play this at some point, and then some jank stuff happened, and I didn't get to. But you know, I don't really get the theming on Twilight Domain because it's kind of like this. You're like a vigil against the darkness is like the idea, which I don't think makes a huge amount of sense. That's not really what I think of when I think of Twilight.
Yeah, I think of vampires.
I more view it as like a cleric of change, which is what I wanted my character to be.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who like helps people deal with like great loss or moving into a new part of your life or like there's a huge change in their life, how to deal with that, or changing their life a lot, or ushering in a new change that a god wants thing. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. For
Yeah,
Twilight, the movement from light to dark or dark to light.
sure.
This is sort of like the idea seems to be you are standing at the edge of light to ward against the darkness,
Yeah,
but it doesn't really like get that theming across. It's kind of just like you're a fighter and have heavy and dark vision, and you have advantage on initiative for some reason, and you give people 10 HP. I mean, I just don't get. It doesn't sound like the theming's very cohesive.
the theming is that it's
Kind of
good.
like really good,
Yeah,
but that seems to be what the theming is. Is it's just like we made them good and not actually relevant to being in Twilight at all. Other
yeah,
than it's like vaguely related to darkness, but then at that point it should just be a night cleric or something. I feel like that makes more sense too. Like this being like a cleric of darkness
maybe. But
makes more sense. They're being Twilight.
yeah, they're
I
really
still
good.
think it doesn't make a lot of sense.
I I don't really have a lot to say, man. They're just they were like, let's give them good features, and then yeah, it's pretty much that's what they were thinking. I think.
Yeah, but it's lame.
Yeah, I'm gonna put them behind Forge Cleric only because I think making a character who's like Ornn and you're just like some unbothered old like Azur or something who's just smithing away. I don't know. It's a very cool concept. And Twilight Domain clerics are kind of
Will Smithin.
yeah. Will Smith. It's Will Smith. Sure. Why not?
That's my new Forge Cleric character.
War Domain clerics. Wow. War Domain cleric
Wow.
has many manifestations. It can make heroes of ordinary people. It can be desperate and horrific with acts of cruelty and cowardice, eclipsing instances of excellence and courage. In either case, gods of war watch over warriors and reward them for their great deeds. The clerics of such excel in battle, inspiring others to fight the good fight or offering acts of violence as prayers. Gods of war include champions of honor and chivalry. Just these guys, as well as gods of destruction and pillage and conquest and domination, and more war gods. war and war and war, and lots of gods really like to kill, apparently.
Damn, bro. All about it.
Yeah, so, I have been playtesting what they released for the 1D&D War Cleric. I don't know if they're gonna make changes on it, but if they don't, I will tell you that they feel really good and really fun, and I like them a lot. And I feel like probably like my favorite way of playing the game is probably like 6 levels in War Cleric, 6 levels in Fighter. It's a lot of fun for me. Default though, it's okay.
It's okay. It's like Baby Paladin.
Yeah, it's not awesome.
It's kind of just like the caster version of Paladin, where you're pretty good with martial weapons. You're like kind of a fighter.
Yeah, War Priest kinda lets you have multi-attack.
Kind of have extra attack.
And hey, having having extra attack at level 1, even as printed right now, makes you really strong. Like, being able to hit an enemy 2 times, because they have martial weapon proficiency too, right? So you just take them all, you hit them 2 times at any time, and it's very good.
Yeah.
You get them back on a long rest, though, and you don't get very many of them at level 1, which is a bit of a shame.
Mod.
Yeah, it's wisdom. So you get 3 attacks.
Yeah. So you don't get a lot of them. The problem is it's because it's wisdom mod. You get a lot of them early, but it doesn't really scale ever.
If
so you get up to, you start with 3 and you can get up to 5.
You could take a half feat as
So you get probably by 8 you have 5, but you also might not want to be hitting
yeah,
20 at 8 because you probably want strength because you're using a weapon.
yeah.
You get guided strike. Guided strike's pretty good. I mean, you can hit a lot. You could go like, um, what's that thing? Heavy,
Great weapon master.
long, great weapon master, and then like guaranteed hit with it. But it's probably just better to do what they do in Critical Role, where the war cleric just points at the barbarian, and the barbarian uses great weapon master, and then you point at them when they miss, and then they hit.
Yeah,
Um,
War God's Blessing at 6 is pretty good at using on other people who are using Sharpshooter or Weapon Master. Uh, if you're not going to multi-class, it's not very good. I mean, Avatar of Battle's pretty strong, but that would imply that you're... Like, you need too many stats, is what I'm saying. Like,
you kind of just need strength and wisdom.
well, no. If you're playing Avatar of... If you're going to level 17 Cleric, right? The playstyle you're thinking of is you're up on the front lines with a weapon, and you're tanking for your team.
Yeah.
But if you do that, you need Con, because you have... You're level 17
Yeah, you need con.
Cleric,
But
who
everyone
is
needs con.
going to be casting
Maybe
spells.
you can have
And if you get
strength,
hit,
wisdom,
you're going to
con.
lose concentration on stuff.
You can have strength, wisdom, and con.
You're not taking much wisdom if you're doing silent.
You can do it.
You might not even take, because of feats you're probably gonna want to take. You're probably just gonna try to go 20 con and not think too much about your strength or wisdom. Probably leave them both at 16. Have your war priest just be kind of bad, and then use War God's Blessing on other people.
No, that's pretty. You're fine.
You're
It's
not.
pretty decent. You just play a cleric and you point at your barbarian, and it's cool. You're not like a great cleric.
Nah, you kind of stink.
But I mean, you're still a cleric. If you're kind of just a cleric, but you have a better weapon, it's kind of like, and you have like 16 strength. Like, you're
Yeah.
kind of just a cleric. You can also do
But if you're not multi-classing,
what they do in Critical Role, where you have like okay strength, and then at some point you get gauntlets of giant strength.
yeah.
And then you have a strength stat, and you just have high con and high wisdom.
Yeah.
And then you hit people, and it's like you have a really good cantrip.
But on its
Clerics
own,
don't get.
I think War Clerics non-multi-classed are not much better than the rest of these, like C tier.
No, I think so. They're like okay.
It's kind of on the same tier as Tempest and Death.
It really puts your subclass is just kind of on the back burner, and you're kind of just a cleric, but you have some features you can bring up every so often that make you a bit better than a cleric. You can just like hit twice sometimes. You point at your barbarian sometimes. But other than that, you're kind of just a cleric, and your subclass doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't.
But I will say, with like weapon mastery and getting your war priest charges back on a short rest, as well as you get your level 6 guided strike as your level 2 guided strike, this class feels amazing in 1D&D. Yeah, I love it. But that's not what we're talking about, because it's not out yet, and they might change it and nerf it and make it bad. I'm looking forward to those books coming up, though. I wonder if we're gonna finish this before they come out.
I don't know. Probably not.
We probably will.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know when the books are.
I mean, there's not that many classes left, right? You've only done 4 so far.
Yeah, there's only like 20 to go.
Anyway, any closing remarks?
Go play bow order cleric with with bracers and be awesome.
Alright, sure. Go play a bow order cleric. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.